This is going to be a big winter storm that unfolds with heavy snow across eastern Georgia, the Carolinas, the mountains of eastern Tennessee, and parts of southern Virginia. Bottom line, this is looking more and more like the kind of thing that's a pretty big deal just upstream from us here in Alabama. Now, for us at home, probably not that much to worry about from a snow standpoint. There will, however, be quite a bit of very cold air. Let's dive into it here. This is the winter storm watch that's been issued this morning that covers most of northeastern, really the eastern third of Georgia. This is an oddball setup with this upper trough digging in, but big snow amounts there. And then up into the Carolinas, the snow gets even heavier. Here is the winter storm severity index. And you'll notice these are the odds of the types of impacts that are expected. Minor impacts from the Atlanta eastern suburbs back over towards Athens, and then it's a bigger deal into far east Georgia, Augusta, back up towards Clemson, South Carolina, and then the biggest part of all of this is probably northern South Carolina on up into parts of central and eastern North Carolina. But we won't get into all of that. Here at home, it's cold. That's the big story here. There's your home. This is planet Earth, big blue marble on a beautiful morning, some clouds overhead. A lot of what you see there on the satellite, if you look carefully, let me make the mouse big again because that's always fun to do. A lot of what you're seeing on the satellite there is still snow and ice on the ground across parts of Tennessee and Mississippi, which that actually matters for us in terms of how cold it gets. When Arctic air is moving in from the north, if it's moving over snowpack, it doesn't moderate as much. So for us, yes, there is a chance you see some snowflakes fly on Saturday. I'll get to that in a moment. But the bigger thing is the cold. And that's what I really want us to kind of lock in and focus in on here. So let me walk you through this. This is the latest run of the what is affectionately referred to as Rufus. That is NOAA's experimental model that is poised to take over kind of short-range forecasting responsibilities. It does okay. It's got some strengths and weaknesses, don't we all? So today we're in the mid-50s. Tonight we drop down into the upper 20s and low 30s. You do not need to drip a faucet tonight as you're watching this on Thursday, January 29th. And then Friday gets here, we warm up into the 50s. And look, this is Friday afternoon. Man, we're on cruise control, right? Right? No. A little lobe of the polar vortex breaks off and heads south here. And by sunrise Saturday, we've got temperatures in the upper 20s and low 30s. Now, the initial cold blast that arrives Friday night, I'm not sure it gets cold enough to freeze any pipes in anyone's homes because we would have been in the 50s the afternoon before. But don't worry, I've got the drip cast ready to rock if it comes to that. Pardon me, had a cold here. But what the key to watch here, this is Saturday now at 9 a.m. If you look carefully there, Montgomery's at 28, Columbus, Georgia's 29, Monroeville's 26. That's 9 o'clock in the morning. I'll fast forward a few more hours here. This is now 10 o'clock in the morning. It's 29 degrees. This is as far out as this model goes right now, is out to Saturday, mid to late morning. But I will tell you, the wind is howling from the north over snowpack across Tennessee and Arkansas. It's not going to get any much warmer than this Saturday. We're talking temperatures in the upper 20s most of the day. We've got a forecast high of 32. A, we may not get there at all, and B, even if we do, it would be for a very brief window in the afternoon if the sun comes out. This is the wind chill value for Saturday, and I'll fast forward here. And the wind chill, this is now out to 11 a.m. The wind chill at Montgomery is 16. Chilton County, it's 10. Marengo, it's 12. Down south, it's in the upper teens. So the wind chill is in the teens essentially all day. When the wind kicks up, when we get those gusts, the wind chill will go down into the single digits. So brutal, brutal, brutal cold for Saturday. And quite frankly, Saturday night is no walk in the park either. Let's switch over to the Euro to dive into that. We'll go back to the actual air temperature. So we'll fast forward here. And I'll note here the warmest that I see on the Euro is 27 all day. And we can actually plot that here. They've got a relatively new thing over here where you can plot these high temperatures. It's just going to get brutally cold. Is the real moral of the story here. I guess the Euro has us as warm as 32 from Montgomery, but north and west of there we stay in the upper 20s all day. So just get ready. There's no way to sugarcoat this. This is going to be just remarkable cold. And then, so this is the Euro data here. I'm showing you valid. This is now 6 a.m. on Sunday. Woo, man, these are air temperatures, not wind chills. 17 or so around Montgomery. Most of the southern half of the state ranges from about 15 to 20 degrees. And to find 20, you better go to Baldwin and Mobile counties because most of us are in the teens. Again, this is raw data off the European, but I think it's right. Temperatures below zero in the Smokies with a heavy coating of snow on the ground, which we'll talk about in a minute. If you have plans to go to Gatlinburg this weekend, you're going to hit the snow lottery. This is a perfect setup for them, unless they get dry slotted and then they won't get anything. Welcome to snow forecasting in Alabama. So, wind chills Sunday morning. We need to pull up a chair and talk. I'm going to have a sip of coffee to even dive into this. Check it out. This is an OG WSFA mug, by the way. This is from way back in the day. So, wind chills down into the single digits. The raw data here off the European suggests a wind chill of 2 in Chilton County Sunday morning. 2. Not 22, not 32. 2. That's what you get. The other thing let's talk about, so before we change gears here and go to the snow forecast side of this, brutal cold begins Friday night and lasts through Monday. Vicious cold. Take those cold weather precautions. You'll want to drip a faucet Saturday night into Sunday morning for sure, 100%. Pets will need to be indoors. Check on your people. If you talk to someone and they talk about how cold their house gets, if you know they live in an older home that maybe isn't insulated the same way that we insulate them now, talk to them, right? Offer them some blankets. See if you can be helpful and useful in some way. Okay, so there is a chance that you see some snowflakes fly out of this whole deal. We'll lean on the Euro here for the overall pattern, but so we get this big bowling ball cutoff upper level low that's going to swing down into the deep south, and out ahead of it, it's not underneath it really where you have a lot of lift. It's actually out ahead of it. So it creates lift ahead of it. So we look for basically where does that 500 millibar low, that upper level low, where does that pivot negative tilt? Where does that move? And the latest data has that clipping northeast Alabama, and you actually make out some decent snow. I am pretty confident in the idea that the ground turns white with snow. Places like Fort Payne and Mentone and Valley Head and Black Creek in Etowah County and Duggar Mountain near Piedmont, where my papa lives, Jacksonville, where most of my family lives. I think there's a very real chance you get a quick dusting of snow, and then this is a bigger deal back over into North Georgia. Now, for us in the southern half of the state, this is the circle right here I'm watching. Where it again, it's not where it is, it's where it's moving. Notice it's back here. The snow's out ahead of it. That's because these generate lift due to what's called positive vorticity advection. This is a vorticity maximum. Vorticity in and of itself doesn't create lift. It is where vorticity is increasing. We call that positive vorticity advection. If you wanted to just geek out till you freak out, there you go. But that PVA associated lift with that really focuses in over eastern Tennessee, North Georgia, the Carolinas, and we're kind of on the fringe of that. All that said, my suspicion is the models are underestimating the amount that the cold air is going to squeeze out the available moisture, and I think the models are probably underestimating the amount of lift. So I think there's going to be these little streamers of snow showers that form. Some of them could even be sort of aided by lakes, rivers, steam plants, anywhere where there's warm, moist air around, relatively speaking, because of the very cold nature of this air. This could be the rare scenario where you end up with lake effect, river effect, steam plant effect, snow in Alabama. I don't think it's going to snow and stick and be an impactful thing where we're closing roads or anything, but I do think there will be some snow flurries and snow showers in these little streamer bands, primarily east of I-65, north of I-85. I think Alex City, Rockford, Wetumpka, Auburn, Opelika, Valley, Lynette in our area, and then I think where it will actually snow and stick is probably more like Mount Cheaha, Mentone, Valley Head, Scottsboro, Gunnersville, that area. And then we'll take you to the, so the timing on this would be mainly Saturday morning. That's when I think the greatest ingredients come together for this. And understand, I do not think this is a deal where you need to prepare anything for snow. Yeah, right. I mean, we're still at Thursday. This is Saturday. We're within 48 hours. The forecast I'm giving you, as far as who gets what and when, there will be isolated snow flurries and snow showers Saturday morning. These will be in narrow bands. If you're underneath one, it snows pretty hard. It's pretty. The ground turns kind of that gray dusting look, and then it stops and the sun comes out. If you're not underneath one of those bands, which 70 or 80% of you will not be, it's just a partly cloudy day that's frigid. It's very windy. It's very cold. So that's the snow forecast here in central and south Alabama. But just for fun, because I like to have fun. Do you like to have fun? Um, I do want to talk about the snow forecast up here because this is going to be pretty. If you're headed to Gatlinburg this weekend, Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, that area, this is a near ideal snow setup. So what happens here, and let me go back to this other map first. So what happens, you get this bowling ball cutoff upper low. See it right here, 504. See that circle that's labeled 504? That's the height line. That tells you how thick the air is, basically. You get this and a surface low over here. So between those two, there's a lot of lift. And so you're getting a kind of this large area of light to moderate snow that breaks out. Friday night in the Smokies, getting into Saturday into the Blue Ridge Mountains, and then back down into the Carolinas themselves during the day on Saturday. And then at the same time, you're getting a surface wind out of the northwest, which what will happen is you'll get this orographic enhancement. The northwest wind will hit the Smoky Mountains and get forced upward, and that's going to enhance the lift and really wring out all that moisture in the form of snow on those northwestern facing peaks of the Smoky Mountains. In other words, if you're at a cabin up above 2,500 feet on Ski View Drive or Ski Mountain Road or any of those places up near the ski resort near Gatlinburg. Now, I'm not talking about down in town itself. I'm not talking about down in the valley where Pigeon Forge and Sevierville is. I'm talking about you're above 2,500 feet, up there above Gatlinburg, near Ober Gatlinburg, the ski resort. I think you're going to get 6, 8, 10 inches of snow. This is going to be the real deal snow up there. So just if you have family members or friends, or you are going up to the Great Smoky Mountains, just know you're probably going to see some pretty fun stuff in terms of snow. And the timing's perfect on this. Look, this is lunchtime Saturday. The snow tapers off overnight Saturday night. So it starts snowing Friday afternoon. It snows all day Saturday. The snow ends Sunday morning, just in time for you to come home. And they really do a pretty good job with streets and roads in the Gatlinburg area. Now, the driveways are tricky. So a little pro tip here, if you're going to Gatlinburg this weekend, park your car. If you have a cabin, if you're staying in a cabin and it's got a driveway that goes up away from the main road, park your car down at the bottom of the driveway nearest to the main road that you can safely be, right? Get off the main road. Don't leave any part of your car over the main road, but get about 5-10 feet off the main road on the driveway and park your car there. That will mean you don't have to navigate that big steep driveway when you're trying to come home. And the amount of road surface that you may try to shovel or scrape or something to help yourself get out of there is a lot better. Don't ask me how I know. I learned that one via experience. So there you go. All right. Thanks so much for watching this discussion for January the 29th. We'll post updates throughout the day to the WSFA First Alert Weather app. You can see my forecast tonight on WSFA 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. I hope to see you there. Also, keep an eye on my social media platforms, Josh Johnson WSFA on Facebook. If you're on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube, I'm there as Josh Johnson Weather. If you're on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, just search for Josh Weather. Have a great day. Take care.